On a soggy, summery Saturday afternoon, we welcome you to Town River Landing for Summerfest presented by Fire for Effect and Black Hat Brewworks. I'm John Luck, standing by with Fire for Effect's Al Lacerda. Al, also a local business owner here in Bridgewater. We have performances going on. We have a lot of local businesses going and selling everything that they have to offer residents here in town. But as I mentioned, this is sponsored by Fire for Effect. So for those people that don't know what Fire for Effect is, what is it?
So we are a veteran nonprofit 501c3 here in Bridgewater. We support veterans, first responders, but on top of that, we support the community itself. You know, we like to look at ourselves as a sort of a catalyst to making connections with other businesses within the community and kind of bringing everyone together.
And Town River Landing, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, this was broken up asphalt. There was an abandoned salt shed back there. That's since burned down. But you guys have come in here. You've improved the lawn. There's now a new lawn here outside of our BTV studios. What was the emphasis in improving Town River Landing? And why Town River Landing for all these festivals?
Why? I think it was just more why not. You know, my business is right over in this area, and I was kind of using it for for some photo shoots, because of the way it looked, which wasn't so hot. But in those moments of kind of walking around the area, I realized, like, hey, there's something here. I don't know why anybody's not using it, but there's a lot of potential here. So, we started the nonprofit, and then we said, if we start this nonprofit, we need to have a project immediately. I want to jump right in and start improving the community as soon as we possibly can. And this grass in here, we replaced all that asphalt with about 8,000 square feet of new grass. We tied it into the existing grass that was there, and now we have enough to have concerts and festivals here. And, we're not done. We're going to keep improving it and keep working on it, and we're going to keep strengthening those community ties and figure out the best ways to use this place to make the community better.
And this is just the latest festival here in our parking lot at 80 Spring Street, Town River Landing. We've had the 4th of July as a beneficiary. We had first responders. We're going to have a Bark in the Park coming up. It seems like each festival kind of has its own identity, which I think was something that Fire for Effect was striving for when they first came up with these festivals.
Yeah, when we came up with the idea for doing things at this park, it's always important for us to have some sort of goal involved in it. In other words, like, we're a nonprofit, so we don't make money. All our board members are volunteers. That money that we create out of these events needs to go somewhere. More importantly, needs to go somewhere to improve the community itself. Bridgewater has a lot of potential. I know recently with the redevelopment projects that they're talking about, people are starting more and more to see the potential in the areas that we do have, and this is just an extension of that.
And just getting back to the work for a second, because you mentioned the town's involvement, everything that we've seen here, this is basically the work of volunteers.
Right.
I don't think a lot of money went into the restoration that we're seeing here today in the parking lot.
Yeah, aside from the actual grass itself and the hydrosine that went into that we had to pay for, this is all local people doing good things, volunteering their time, hard labor, a lot of support from the councilman in town, a lot of support from the town itself. Howard Farm Works deserves a shout out of West Bridgewater. He's come in and done an incredible amount of volunteer work down here, including trucks and fuel and so much work. And, we've been very lucky to have that. Our own highway department super, Paul DeCosta, has been down here helping us on his own time. It's nice to see that kind of buy-in, and, we really want to make sure that those efforts don't go to waste and we continue to move forward with this project.
We're even seeing some of the potholes get sealed up every once in a while, which is great to see
Yep.
here in our parking lot. But you mentioned local businesses a little while ago. You're a local business owner. Why is it important to have these festivals with local business owners coming out? Because I didn't know there were this many local business owners in Bridgewater.
Right. Well, I mean, they're not all Bridgewater, but they're all the surrounding area. Right. But our emphasis is on improving our own community. And part of doing that is bolstering up your own business community. Because if you don't have a good business community, you don't have a good community. And these people all need to have as many opportunities as they can to thrive. And this is just a way for us to extend an opportunity for them to come down, interact with each other, interact with the public, and make some money. And by doing that, we find ways to, move the town forward a little bit more.
So I believe July 8th we have Bark in the Park.
Yes.
That was a rescheduled event due to rain. Go figure
Right.
here today. But what's next for this location? I know we talked about some things off camera, and I don't want to jinx anything, but what are some of the things that you're looking at to improve upon here at Town River Landing?
You know, we really want to continue to expand the park area. We have some more. The cleanup will never stop. You know, we always have more things to kind of trim down and cut back. We are looking to build a permanent gazebo-style, pavilion-style structure in this area. Some picnic areas, solar lighting around the park to keep it lit up at night. Just overall improvement on the area. And, you know, as we go forward, we find more and more things that we think would be good. So it's an ongoing process.
A big part of the reason why we're here today, and with every weather update you've given, I think you may need to get a minor in meteorology from all the weather updates.
Well, let's not go too crazy.
Alice, thank you for joining us, and best of luck today with the rest of the Summerfest.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a break. Coming up next, we'll have Paul Mulcahy of Black Hat Brew Works.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Back here at Summerfest, which is presented by Fire for Effect and Black Hat Brew Works. Speaking of Black Hat Brew Works, great to welcome the owner of Black Hat, Paul Mulcahy. Thank you for coming on and joining us for a few minutes.
Thank you, John. It's a pleasure. Obviously, we've known each other for many years here, and you know, throughout the years, you guys have been awesome in supporting the things that we've tried to accomplish here in the town.
And
right?
Your brewery's awesome. I mean, like you said, we've been there since, 2015, visiting for news, visiting for business. It's all great.
Yeah, you know, back in the day, we threw a few brew fests. We've done a number of charity events there that you guys have come for. And, you know, we just keep trying to do good stuff in the town, right? That's what it's about.
So I mentioned that this Summerfest is presented by Fire for Effect and Black Hat Brew Works. So you work closely with Al Lacerda. Can you just talk about that partnership, because it's really evolved, especially with this year's festivals?
Al's like my brother from another mother. He's an incredibly driven individual, and he has the same goals and outlook that we do. You know, Fire for Effect, their whole board. I shouldn't just say it's Al, because he has a board full of people that are incredible individuals that all put this together. And we were lucky enough to join forces kind of with them early on and talk about doing fun stuff in Bridgewater. And he had this vision. Al had a vision for this park, this Town River Landing, where we're standing now, where BTV is. Bridgewater Bagel, right? Mm-hmm. So 80 Spring Street, for everybody that doesn't know where Town River Landing is. And Al had this vision. And I think a lot of people thought in the beginning that he was kind of crazy. And we didn't. You know, I thought what he was trying to do was awesome. And we jumped right in with him. And we helped to revitalize this park, turn it back into a park. And we started to throw events here.
And you talk about events. Black Hat Brew Works has hosted a number of events. Like you said, I've been there covering them. There have been a couple of brew fests. There was an Honoring Our Heroes event, which was very moving to see last year. You recently hosted Music Alley. You're the site there, I believe, for the next few weeks, maybe a few months. Who knows?
Yeah, well, until the construction is
Right.
done. Music Alley is awesome.
Yeah.
Again, a great group of people that just want to see fun things happen in Bridgewater. And when they found out they couldn't use the alley because of construction to the old town hall, they had asked, since we had purchased a stage this year to bring some more music to Bridgewater. We got a music license from the town, and it all just kind of fell into place. And we've done 2 events with Music Alley, and it's been 2 of the best nights we've ever had at Black Hat. Just the community coming together, people smiling, food trucks, families. It's just really nice to do things in the town that people enjoy.
And it's not just Music Alley. You also hosted the 4th of July. They had a fundraiser at Black Hat Brew Works. You've opened up the brewery now, outdoor patio, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but you've really embraced the community aspect of being a local business.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important. You know, it's tough for a small business when you first open up to sponsor or donate. You know, you might not have the money to do those things, but we can help raise. We've always had that outlook. You know, we can always help raise money in a good way for good organizations in the town. And if we can use our space to do that, there's no losers in that game. You know, anytime there's a win-win situation for everybody, you got to take advantage of it, right?
And it's great when it's so close to home, too.
Yeah, so, I mean, 4th of July, we love 4th of July. We do a float every year for 4th of July.
One of the biggest ones I've seen.
we love it. You know, 2 years ago, I think, as we were driving by, right? You guys did the interviews on the street, which was very cool. It was like Macy's Day Parade.
Caused some traffic jams, but, you know.
No, it was awesome. It was awesome. You know, Christmas on the Common, Autumn Fest, and now today, Summerfest. So this is kind of our way of coming up with an idea to expand upon what Lisa and her crew do with 4th of July, what the BBA does with Autumn Fest and Christmas on the Common, and to come up with Summerfest and add something. You know, we want to add something of value where folks can come, families can come, music, food, vendors. If you want to have a beer, that's great. If you want to have a glass of wine, we have Bob Wine. We have Black Hat Brew Works, obviously. We have the Girls Brewery, who Bob Pepin, he's right behind us. Bob is a Bridgewater guy, and he opened a contract brewery. And so I'd love to give him just a little bit of a shout out for a minute, because the Girls Brewery, he opened that for his wife and his 2 daughters, and he does an awesome job. He's a coach for Bridgewater Youth Soccer. I've known Bob for over a decade, and he's a great guy. So the Girls Brewery is here with us today because we felt it was important to include all the Bridgewater businesses that wanted to be here.
And that's great to see. We talk about local business. We talked about this before that we hit record. The fact that you've been in Bridgewater since 2015 at the site in Scotland Park. Can you talk about Black Hat's growth and what's next? Because you've nailed the retail. You've nailed taking the show on the road. You've nailed the patio and food trucks. I mean, Black Hat Brew Works is turning into something special locally and regionally.
Thank you. It's very much appreciated. We try pretty hard. We've got an amazing staff. It's myself and my wife and my cousin Will, who is our operations manager and essentially vice president of the company. And we have 2 great bartenders in Allison and John, and there's 5 of us. And 5 of us do all of this constantly.
Insane to think about.
And if it wasn't for them supporting what we do and wanting to do what we do and buying into this crazy idea of making everything hyper local and fun, we wouldn't be here. And so, 8 years ago, we were brewing 15 gallons of beer at a time. And we started out opening maybe a day and a half a week before we ran out of beer. And kind of awkward, but when COVID hit, we had just purchased a large brew system, to be able to brew 500 gallons at a time. And we purchased a number of large fermenters so we can make batches of beer in 1,000 gallons or 500 gallons at a time. And we started to distribute our beer. And so we kind of got that. It was an awkward time because we weren't fully able to open at the brewery, but we could sell to liquor stores and bars. Then everything kind of opened up again, and it just started to flourish. And I would say we got really lucky in the fact that our 2 distribution companies take our product from the North Shore down to the Cape and Islands. And we currently move, quite a bit of beer, through the tap room and then out into distribution.
And then finally, you talk about the distribution, the tap room, a lot of great flavors. Bridgewater Blonde is one that I go towards. Augie's is another good one that my family has enjoyed. Today we have, I believe I see 3 flavors on tap. So what are some of the flavors that Black Hat's featuring today?
Yeah, so today at these outdoor events, we like to keep it light. We always have our fun stuff at the tap room. Triple Down the Stairs, which is a big 10%er. We encourage people to have one and then take some home. Augie's is a big one at 8%. So when we go out into the world and do events, we try to bring our lighter options. So Day Drinker is a hoppy pale ale at a 5.5%. Our Black Hat Pilsner is a super clean, crisp lager at 4.9%. And then, of course, we wanted Strawberry Blonde has become a favorite. And it's nice to have a fruity option for folks that dig that. And so Strawberry Blonde is a version of Bridgewater Blonde where we add about 80 pounds of fresh strawberry puree to the fermenter before we carbonate. And it's become one of our best sellers and kind of surprising, but back in the day, I might be a little bit older than you, I don't know, but Pete's Wicked Ale from way back, you guys might remember it, I don't know. They had a Strawberry Blonde, and it was very popular here in New England. They went out of business. They sold to a company in Texas called Shinerbach, and Shiner started making their Strawberry Blonde. In the first year, they brought some cases up here, and they sold out very quickly. But it sold out so well that they didn't want to let it leave Texas the next year. And so our distribution company, Quality Beverage out of Taunton, came to us and asked us, would you make a Strawberry Blonde?
Wow.
And I said, yeah, why not? We'll try it.
Yeah,
So
worth a shot.
we did it for Valentine's Day. We thought it would be appropriate. And 2 kegs were gone in a day and a half. And so then we decided to put it into production. And today it's becoming one of our most popular beers. So.
Well, I know I'm heading right after we're done with the show here, so save me a couple. I'll be over there. Paul, thank you very much for coming on.
John.
You've been great with us for BTV, and thank you for taking a few minutes and talking to everybody here at Summerfest.
No, absolutely. I appreciate it, man. Always. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate everybody in the town for supporting small business, not only our small business, but all the amazing small businesses in our town. There are a lot of them. So please, if you have the ability to support local, and we appreciate it.
All right, Paul, thank you for coming on,
All right.
and we'll talk to another Paul coming up after the break, Paul Medeiros of Easter Seals beneficiary.
He's one of my favorites.
We'll see Paul Mulcahy tuning in, and we'll have Paul Medeiros after the break.
Cheers.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones
Don't even.
and explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
All right, so we're here, obviously, at Summerfest. This is a big event for us, and we're lucky to have Luke from Garrison Speed Shop here with us.
Yeah,
why don't you talk a little bit about what Garrison Speed Shop is?
Yeah, so at the Garrison Speed Shop, what we offer for our veterans and first responders is recreational and vocational programs and clinics that help them acclimate to civilian life coming from the military world, or helps them deal with their day-to-day struggles that they might find in their profession serving their community. And we do that through the motorcycle industry with skilled trades clinics and learn how to work on their motorcycles and do general maintenance, welding, and things like that.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And I know we met the first event that we had down here at the launch. It was when we were in the infancy of these ideas that were created. And now we've kind of come full circle. And we have our own event that we're working together on in August.
We do. Yeah, the first annual Warhorse Run.
Yeah,
and
we're excited for that. And
Yeah.
we're going to raise money for those vocational programs.
Absolutely. No, we're looking forward to it. So the ride's going to start in Hopkinton, Mass. It's going to be about an hour and 15-minute ride from there to here in Bridgewater, where we'll have an all-day event. We're going to have music. There's going to be vendors, food trucks, raffles. It's going to be a great time, and it's going to benefit our local veterans and first responders.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing to be able to do.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be a part of it, and couldn't be more excited to do it with a great organization like Fire for Effect.
I feel the same way, and it's all about bridging the communities and getting everybody working together. Your community, Bridgewater, it's all good stuff.
I couldn't think of a better way to honor our local vets and first responders.
She's the baker, I'm the driver.
So today we have s'mores popcorn, cakesicles, chocolate-covered Oreos, Reese's stuffed cover Oreos, and Kit Pops. So you can call or text 508-916-0557 and find Sweet Entertainers on Facebook.
Back here at Summerfest, which is presented by Fire for Effect and Black Hat Brewworks, the beneficiary of this summer festival is Easter Seals, Massachusetts, and joining me right now is the president and CEO of Easter Seals, Mass. Paul Medeiros, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So for anyone coming through here, they see that the beneficiary is Easter Seals. What is Easter Seals?
Sure. We are a nonprofit who serves people with disabilities. We are a service agency, and our mission is to provide services to ensure that children and adults with disabilities have equal opportunities to live, learn, work, and play. We serve them in a variety of ways. We have a lot of different programming, and we also have a designated veterans division as well.
And you went into the site of the Bridge Center, I believe, and there were some improvements that were made over the past few months or so. So what are some of the things that you improved at that site?
Absolutely. We were excited to merge with the Bridge Center back in September. And since then, we've been just doing a lot of, needed upgrades and some repairs and things like that have added up over the years. We've done a lot of work on the barn. We've done some modifications to allow the horses a little more freedom, a little more leeway. We've done some work in the beautiful Rudofsky Center. I love that property. It allows for a lot of different recreational opportunities and events. And yeah, we've been working hard. So grateful for all the volunteers who have been working with us as well. The Bridgewater community has just come out in force to really help us get that property up and running again.
And you're the beneficiary of this event here. You're going to be the beneficiary of the BPD 5K coming up at the end of September. To have so much local interest and local efforts to try and build up Easter Seals, what does that mean to you as the president and CEO of Easter Seals, Mass?
I'm going to tell you, it's humbling. When we envisioned this, it took about 5 years for us to complete this merger, and the Bridge Center board was so supportive of us as well. But it did take some time. We had a pandemic, which put a kind of halt to things. But, one of our big things we talked about is really wanting to be embraced by the community. How do we make that happen? And I'll say it's been easier than expected. The Bridgewater community has just been so excited to have us. In this world today, you always think who's going to be against it. No one has been. Everyone's been so supportive. They're so happy to have us. Having, Black Hat and Fire for Effect and the police department and just neighbors coming out to support us has meant so much to us. And we're so excited to make the whole town proud and to serve our residents. And I couldn't be happier. It's been great.
Great to see that community aspect really coming to show, especially for a great cause like Easter seals. And I believe back in May there was a special event called Move With Me.
Yes.
We promoted it on the news updates on BTV, but can you talk a little bit about that event and what Easter seals did for that?
Sure. So the Move With Me event is really our kind of community fundraiser. So it's kind of like a walk, but because of our mission, we tried to make it a little more inclusive and say move for people who can't walk. Maybe they do yoga or exercise or however they want to move, they can move for the month leading up to our final lap, we called it, even though I know that's kind of funny. But yeah, so people across the state create teams and they fundraise with their friends and family. And, you know, that's really hard to do. It's hard to ask people for money, but people do it and they support us. And then this year, because we had the Bridge Center, we had that final event, kind of the celebration at the Bridge Center, and let people come see what we've been working on and some of the programs we're setting up there. And it was really successful. We raised about $80,000, and it was just, we had a rain that day, but we still had an amazing turnout, and people stuck through the rain and had a lot of fun. So it was great.
So rain for that event, some rain here. When I'm at the 5K, do I need to bring a little umbrella?
I hope not. I don't know. I don't want to, you know, we usually have pretty good weather. I don't want to blame Black Hat Brewery, but they were at both events, okay? So sorry, Paul, but I don't know if it was your fault.
He'll be watching this back, don't worry. And finally, Easter seals. If people want to find out more about Easter seals and what you guys do, what's the best way to do that?
Sure. The best way, you can go right to our website, eastersealsma.org. We have all that we do across the state, but you can also find the work we're doing at the Bridge Center there. Also, follow us on social media. You know, we have a really active Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those different social media aspects, and we keep everything up to date. So you can find how do you sign up for programming, what are you eligible for, you know, and we also, you could also call, you know, our number will be on there, and we can help to point you in the right direction.
Awesome. Paul Medeiros, President and CEO of Easter Seals, Massachusetts. Thank you for spending a few minutes with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks again for having me.
And coming up next, we go to the stage. You're watching a special edition of the Bridgewater Review at Summerfest.
Hi, I'm Ice-T. As a veteran, I know that for many former servicemen and women, the battle doesn't always end when they come home. Every day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and sadly, 20 take their own lives. When nothing else helps, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane, serving the U.S. military for over 100 years, rescues animals in need of forever homes and trains them to become free, life-saving service dogs for our nation's veterans. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
Back here on this special edition of the Bridgewater Review at Summerfest, and we want to show you a special tent with stuffed bears. Each of these bears is made out of uniforms of a fallen veteran. That veteran's mother, who wishes to remain anonymous, asked Fire for Effect to make the bears to help benefit vets. Each one of these bears will be raffled off at each event until the fabric runs out. Right now, let's go to the stage where our guests on this episode talk to those in attendance, followed by a performance from Katie Cook and David Buckley, also known as the Music Loft Duo.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. We appreciate everybody coming out and supporting this fantastic event here in Bridgewater. We're going to have our next musical act on very soon, the Music Loft Duo with Katie Cook and David Buckley. But before we do that, we'd just like to make a couple of announcements and say a few thank yous to everybody that's here. So Black Hat Brewworks is very proud to partner up with Fire for Effect Foundation and put on this event here in town. We love Bridgewater. And today benefits the Bridge Center, which is now run by Easter Seals here in town, which is a phenomenal organization. So we'd like to thank everybody for coming. I'm going to welcome up to the stage Al Lacerda, who is the head of the Fire for Effect Foundation. You'll see a lot of the board members here today from Fire for Effect. They're an amazing nonprofit veterans organization here in town. They're responsible for taking this park and revitalizing everything you see here today. There was no grass here, there was no grass there. There was overgrowth, there was trash, and these guys came in and totally revamped this spot where we can hold these events, not only today, but in the future. So I want to introduce Al Lacerda, who's an amazing friend of mine. He's a phenomenal friend of mine.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. When we started this project, it was very important for us that if we were going to start an organization within the town of Bridgewater, that it benefited everybody. It was important for us to have a project that we were passionate about immediately, and this was it. When we started this project, this park did not look like this. I mean, you couldn't even call it a park. You can call it a park now, but you couldn't back then. It was overgrown. What you're sitting on right now is grass that was not there before. That was all crumbling asphalt. We tore that up. A lot of people to thank for that. We were able to do all these things through the generosity of the people that live in this town. Besides having the backing of this town, we were able to come together with organizations like Howard Farm Works out of West Bridgewater, who donated a ton of time, coming down here with trucks and fuel and digging this up and trucking it out. Councilor Brad McKinnon, who's here today, was a huge help with me in the very beginning and did an outstanding job with the loam and everything else that he donated to help us out, okay? Kelly from the Craftpreneur, if we did not have her in the beginning, we would not exist. So as we go forward and we continue to do good things and we continue to move this park in the right direction and do more events like this, it's important that we all come together and work together so that we can benefit the community that we live in. So I appreciate you all coming out. This is the first Summerfest, and today, on this day, is exactly our 1-year anniversary of existing here in Bridgewater, and we look forward to doing more cool stuff with all of you. And we invite you to all come join the fire team. So at this time, I want to introduce Paul Medeiros, the president of Easter Seals here in Massachusetts.
Thank you, Al, and thank you to Paul as well. I just have to say, Paul is the worst crutch user I have ever seen. My wife's a physical therapist. She's dying to just take him aside and start working with him, but hopefully Paul gets better soon so we don't have to watch that anymore. But all kidding aside, a huge thank you to Fire for Effect and Black Hat Brewery. Thank you to all of the vendors here today. Thank you to all of you for buying tickets and coming out to support. For those of you who don't know, Easter Seals Massachusetts, we've been in Massachusetts for 80 years almost. We provide services to people with disabilities and veterans, and our mission is ensure that they have equal opportunities to live, learn, work, and play. And our, with merging with the Bridge Center, we're really going to be able to forward that play mission. We already have our equestrian center open. We're providing adapted riding. We started physical therapy, so hippotherapy on horses. Actually, yesterday was our first day of doing lessons there. This summer, we have a lot of recreational programming for both children and adults with disabilities. So please, if you know someone with a disability, which I know everyone does because, 25% of people in Massachusetts have a disability. So we all have someone we know who could be benefited by going to the Bridge Center. Check out our website, eastersealsma.org, and you'll be able to find all our services, all the work we do. And one final thing, I'm not going to stay in the way of the band much longer, but I just want to say how touched I am to be embraced by the community of Bridgewater. When the team talked about, we're going to have a property to work at. Most of our services are in the community. We really hope that we could become part of the community. And we've been overwhelmed just by how supportive everyone is. The Bridgewater Police Department is doing the 5K in honor of Easter Seals this year. Obviously, Fire for Effect and Black Hat are doing this event in honor of Easter Seals. And we've just received nothing but support from the community. So thank you all. We are so grateful. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of the day. I know we have some fantastic music. So have a good day.
So there's actually just one more thing we'd like to add to all that, and I think you know where this is going. Why don't you hop up here? Come on, big guy. If it weren't for a random thought on a Tuesday out of this guy's brain and putting in all the hours, sweat, and just in tears at some points too, this guy he's one of the most humble men I've ever met. He's put countless hours into this, and if it weren't for him, none of this would be possible. He wasn't even raised in the town of Bridgewater. He moved his family here a couple years ago and really just set out to go on a mission to build up the community, to help people, all of you, bring people together. And especially with it being the 1-year anniversary of the organization, we'd like to present you with a little gift here.
Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a joy where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. And I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. And I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. And I'll fly away.